Retirement Podcast, where we share real-life stories and strategies that we've used to help hundreds of families retire with confidence. Your host is certified financial planner Jim Cox of McCarthy Cox Retirement and Estate Specialists. McCarthy Cox embodies small-town midwestern values and is dedicated to building better tomorrows.
All right, welcome everybody to our very first podcast. We're calling it to Toast to Retirement, and that's just mainly and purposefully because the "Oh my God, not another podcast" name was already taken, and yeah, I mean we have a vision of what this is going to be like going forward. We'll talk a little bit today about what our firm is and the makeup of that firm, but our vision, if you will, of this podcast over the coming years and months and weeks is to have just various financial planning topics to discuss with various experts. We plan on integrating some attorneys for estate planning, some tax professionals for tax minimization strategies. We'll discuss retirement strategies, retirement income strategies, risk management. So just some various, financial planning topics, and kind of go in depth on them a little bit. We just thought it'd be fun, right? We've been doing this for a long time, and maybe broaden our reach a little bit outside of maybe our local community. And when we discussed the title of this podcast, it was with the idea of like toast to retirement, right? So we would have, like, in my mind, we'd have a very nice Cabernet or a bourbon or a glass of champagne or something, but I would say, hey, let's let our guests decide on what that toast will be to. And that way we'll just have various, drink choices and everything else. Well, Tony, why don't you walk us through what the very first podcast, Toast to Retirement, is?
This, my friend, is a cold press.
It looks delicious.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a cold pressed juice. I drink several of them a day. I mean, they're filled with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. They're nutritious. And, and you can make them with either fruits or vegetables. And this is a combination of both. And so it's organic fruits and vegetables. This particular one has mango, pineapple, cucumber, celery, spinach, and romaine.
Okay.
And you're going to like it. It may look funky.
It looks,
but it's good.
Yeah.
And you're going to leave here healthier than you came in. You'll be like glowing.
Glow, yes. I expect to be glowing. Yeah. So I can't wait. This is going to be exciting for me. So let me just introduce Tony. Tony Dalton. He's our Chief Operating Officer. Tony came on board to McCarthy Cox about 7 years ago now. Tony was, I believe, our 12th person that came into our firm. Is that correct?
Yes, that is right.
And now we're at 20. So we've had a very big growth in that 7-year period of time. But Tony's backstory is, I like to say he has 40 plus years of experience.
Nice try.
I know.
Nice try, buddy. 33. Okay.
33. All right. We'll try.
Let's keep it in the guardrails.
We'll figure it out. But no, the reason I say that is, and I know it's a joke, but the point of the joke is that you've been doing this a long time, right? You've helped, hundreds of advisors in this country, achieve success. Design financial planning firms, get the most out of those folks. Been their coach, mentor, if you will, and you've come on board, and we've been very strategic and purposeful in our approach of building. The desire was to build the very best client service entity that we possibly could, like from the ground up, right? Like if we were a client looking to retire, what would that place that you would feel really comfortable with, that could take care of all of your financial needs and really just service the heck out of them, right? And there's a ton of financial advisors in this industry that are very transaction oriented,
right?
And that's not us. We are very service oriented. Give you a little bit of backstory on our firm. The firm is 25 years old. Started in 1999 by my now retired business partner Tom McCarthy. Tom established this firm, just on the foundation of, integrity, and really just a service organization, right? An organization dedicated to serving our clients. we're a fee-based financial planning firm and wealth management firm. We've helped, over the last 25 years, we've helped hundreds of families retire and stay retired. As the intro we have on there, like we embody small midwestern town values, and we're dedicated to building better tomorrows. I know it's a tagline and it might be cliche or something like that, but honestly, we do feel like that's an accurate like statement of who we are trying to be and who we are, I should say. Our vision, right? Our vision of our firm is that our clients will live better, more purpose-filled lives because of what we do for them. And, they can then focus on things that's most important to them, their family, their friends, their health, the important things in life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this
Oh, I guess, man.
their health, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So everything we've done, again, is to try to create this, tailored strategies, right, for each individual family, because it's not just boilerplate anything.
Right.
And to do that, we have to have a good-sized team to help achieve that goal. Can you just walk us through a little bit maybe of the makeup of the team, specifically, if you don't mind, like not just the makeup of the team, but what also then makes us unique in our industry because of that makeup of that team?
Yeah. I'll for purposes of today, I'll start with the advisors. And we have 6 advisors who are all CFPs, certified financial planners, and that is the standard of the highest of excellence in our industry. And we have persons, as you mentioned, Jim, we have persons in segmented roles that we've been very intentional in adding a particular role and how that role works to serve our clients.
So with the CFP, real quick, just to drill down a second, like
Yep.
the CFP, you're certified, educated, licensed to give advice and guidance on all the different facets of personal financial well-being, right?
Yeah. I think you refer to them as the pillars.
Yeah.
What are
estate planning, retirement planning, risk management, obviously investments. I mean, you kind of get in investments with almost every financial advisor out there. They all have their strategies and everything, but the CFP is trained and educated and licensed to give advice on all of those, different facets of financial well-being. So, and it's that, like you mentioned earlier, that's the highest level of certification, if you will, on personal finance that you can get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we started with the advisors. Now from there, as I describe how our firm is made up, I'm going to do it in the order of what I think of our process so that people who are listening to this podcast have an idea of what to expect.
Okay.
So we start with our front desk team. We don't think of them as receptionists. We don't call them receptionists. We refer to them as our directors of first impressions. Yep. So when you come into the office, you're going to be greeted and welcomed, offered beverages, and we've got candy and snacks.
The candy bowl has become a staple.
It's good stuff.
The budget on candy at this office.
We're not sure. We may start off in Jesus. No, so that it feels like, feels more like a home. It feels like family when you come in, and many of our clients literally feel that way.
And why is that important? Like, you and I have had these conversations, but there's a lot of studies out there, like retiring is one of the top 5 most stressful decisions you're going to make in your life, and so, I mean, when people come in, the first time meeting somebody new, and, you got all these like pent up like worries. Am I able to retire? Is this person going to like be upset or not upset? Is a person going to judge me based on, what I did or did not do in preparation for retirement? And so the director of first impressions, these ladies are, everything we've done is kind of to create that environment that's just welcoming, right? To, keep you at ease. And, again, that small Midwestern town values that's purposeful, and that meaning, I would like to think that it's a pretty friendly place to come into and to talk to people and to get to know us, right? Yeah.
And it is important that people can relax before they, go into a meeting with our advisors. And, I mentioned when you walk in, that's how you're greeted and all. And of course, if you call in, you're going to still feel welcomed. We just haven't figured out a way to get the candy and snacks and all over the over the phone lines.
Well, when Amazon starts doing their drone delivery, maybe we can figure out something.
Hey, man.
Figure it out.
You may be on to something.
Constantly evolving.
So if it is your first time in reaching out to us, then you want to explore working with us and engaging with us, the directors of First Impressions will set up an initial meeting, a phone call, consultation with me, and I can spend time, typically 30, 45 minutes, but we go through where you are, where you want to be, perhaps things that concern you, things you want to do, as well as some overall financial information, and then I can be in a better position to recommend the next best steps. We want to be sure, as you know, Jim, that we bring value to our clients.
Sure.
So when I do set a meeting for our clients with one of the advisors, I can even take into consideration things like personalities, so there's a lot of things I can look at. And once you have your meeting with an advisor, then we involve our paraplanners. We have 5 paraplanners who work with our advisors to serve our clients. They are all what the industry refers to as FPQP. It's an important role because not only can they help prepare an advisor for a client meeting, they're also work closely with the advisors as follow-up because they need to direct these tasks and where they go and who else is going to be involved. Now, typically, as you can imagine, our investment team becomes involved. We have 2 persons on that team. One is already a chartered financial analyst, CFA, and it's a very rigorous courses that it takes to become a CFA. We have another person on our investment team who is on the way to becoming a CFA, and they're currently a level 2 candidate. There's 3 levels, if you will, to get there.
Okay. I know it's not 40 years. I'll get the right. I'll get
33.
I was gonna get closer to
We'll get it by the end.
we'll get there. But okay, you've been doing it a long time. Let's say it that way, right? And you've been helping a lot of different teams. How unique is it for a small financial planning firm to have their own CFA, to have their own investment department?
Yeah, it's very unusual. When I think of CFAs, I also think about these large institutional clients and mutual fund companies and all kinds of things like that, who may think of all the amount of money
they're like managing billions and billions and billions,
exactly.
Right? Like
So a chartered financial analyst, such as the one we have and the other one on the way, they do extensive research. You mentioned that we're an independent firm, a registered investment advisor firm, fee-based. And so they build and develop portfolios for our clients within our firm. So it doesn't have to be some super broad, I'm helping some institutional organization with billions of dollars, which is pretty cool. But our portfolios are designed for our clients. And on the McCarthy and Cox side, typically people who are close to retirement and in retirement and beyond. And you said earlier to stay retired.
Yeah.
Because the goal isn't to go back to work unless somebody wants to. So from that aspect, Jim, it's very unusual. And it's part of, I believe, what makes our firm special.
We have, because we work primarily for people very close to or in retirement, we kind of have a focus in this firm, right? Meaning everything from top down, from the big picture stuff of, how much do you need to retire on, to, making conservative choices in your decisions of when to retire and how to retire. And but that, you talk about the investment department, that's also been a focus of our investment team too, is more of an approach of like, using a baseball analogy, like consistent singles and doubles versus trying to hit home runs. And,
right.
And we don't really apologize for being conservative in our investment philosophy. And part of that comes from, like, again, I think it is a unique thing of our firm, and we are a small town. Like, there's not a day that I leave this office where I don't see a client, like outside of this office. Like, it's, if you're in a big city somewhere, you might never see your financial advisor in a personal space ever. Well, literally, like, every day I'm walking down, stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever.
Think about that when you're out working in the yard and you head to Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah, without a tie, without a, very professional looking. But what it does is it just increases the level of responsibility. You know, we're helping people when we kind of like, we're managing their entire financial well-being. We have their entire financial well-being in our hands. And so it does lead to us being conservative because we do know our clients. It is just a little bit, you know, we want to be a little bit more conservative with that and protect that, if you will. And so that goes all the way from the top of financial planning decisions all the way down to the investment management and, you know, how we design portfolios and how we make that work. And so, you know, our team of investment advisors is constantly focused on how do we keep people retired? How do we, you know, and again, we don't apologize. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We really have focused our business in on that retiree level client for the last 25 years.
Yeah, and so you mentioned the conservative aspect even of our investment portfolios, and certainly we have broader choices too. But the you know, the fact that we have one CFA and another one on their way, only 20% of people that start that coursework finish.
Is that the number now?
Yeah,
20?
so it's a really big deal. It's
Yeah.
a really big deal, and I believe we're blessed and very fortunate to have
Great.
that. So once we've had the advisors involved, the paraplanners involved, the investment team involved, then business is typically then submitted to our 2 persons on our business processing team.
Okay.
Business processing is important. Our clients want it and need it done effectively and efficiently. And the business processing team is someone who makes sure that our T's are crossed and our I's are, you know, dotted and those things, so that does happen for our clients, because that's a critical part of the process.
Well, again, I kind of look at them too and say, they're a lot of the ones, it's not just about financial planning. It's not just about the, you know, the talk up front, if you will, their design process. They're the ones who kind of, you know, where the rubber hits the road kind of thing, right? Like, you know, client needs money. They need their income every month, right? So your procedures and your processes need to be efficient and thorough. And, you know, I know that a lot of our quote unquote competition, you know, they might be affiliated with some large, you know, company,
Right.
You know, broker dealer or something like that, where they submit their business to them and then they have to figure it out. But we have in-house people that are really making sure that everything kind of runs without a hitch. And it's not, you know, it's not that mistakes can't happen and things like that, but we really do process things quicker, better. We try to be very reactive and proactive too to client needs. Just be as professional as we possibly can on that.
Yeah, and you know, in a firm of 20 people, our 2 people who are in business processing can easily reach out to an advisor or a paraplanner in the investment team to make sure stuff is going the way it is. And also
follow-up, right?
Yeah, and the follow-up. And they're key to that too, because you don't want to just assume it happens.
So the client doesn't have to pick up the phone and call, and, you know, our team is doing the follow-up. Our team is making it as easy on the client as possible to make their life easier, right? And if we have them focus on what's important to them.
Because that's what they do, and they don't have to try to do all these other roles. So in addition to those persons, we have a marketing director who heads up our efforts on things like client events, coordinates our social media outreach, our website, our all of our like client deliverable type things.
I know she's a very popular one with a lot of our clients because she hands out the swag bags.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All the nice gifts and everything else. And another thing, of course, our marketing director is also the person behind the scenes making this podcast possible. So we want to make sure we thank her for that too. The one other role we have is financial analyst. And the person in that role wants to make sure that she keeps all of our numbers right and correct for both us and our clients. So that's a critical role too. When I think about what we do, and I'll tell you, it's the reason I came here is because we do what we say we're going to do, is that, yes, it's a process focused on our clients, so they have that satisfying, memorable client experience. I think of it as the financial journey is a ship, and our clients are the captains, and we're the navigators.
Yep.
And we're going to make those recommendations. And as fiduciaries, you're held to an even higher standard where you're legally obligated to make what's in the client's best interest. And that's what we do.
I mean, on purpose, like, we designed it on that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Purposely, like the far majority of people doing this in this industry are not fiduciaries, are not either willing to be a fiduciary and legally liable for their advice and guidance, or just not allowed to because the employer that they work for, if it's a mega corporation, won't allow their employees to do that because they don't want to be liable for it, right? But if you go into a doctor's office or you go into an attorney's office, right, a professional office, you expect them to be, there's a certain expectation of what you're going to get when you go into there, and you're going to get professional level advice and guidance. That is, that you can count on that advice and guidance. And so, again, it is, fiduciary is I know it's a legal mumbo jumbo word, but it is actually very important for, anyone looking into hiring a financial professional to help them.
Yeah, that would be one of the key questions that I recommend to potential clients is ask those kinds of questions. Mm-hmm. We're fine if you want to explore working with other firms. Just we can help you with the questions to ask them, which are the same ones we're fine with you asking us, and we'll give you those answers.
Well, the reality is, not just with us. I mean, every person has a different personality. Every firm has a different personality.
Right.
And so, you shouldn't just be calling one place and, this is a relationship. It is not a transaction. So, we're methodical about who we bring on board too, right?
I tell people all the time, look, we don't have to go to family reunions together. We don't have to hang out together every Friday night, but it sure is nice to like each other.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
want to work for people that you like. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you develop a financial plan and all that goes along with that for someone, it could be 30, 35 years or more. You can be in retirement longer than you ever worked.
Yeah.
And that nest egg that you've created, unless you win the lottery or inherit money, will likely be the largest nest egg you have left that you want to get all the way through retirement and beyond.
You brought up and, kind of spurred my memory on this. Is like, we've been doing this for 25 years.
Yep.
And
not quite as long as I've been in the business, but that's
good. I just think about like how the last couple of years we've had more and more of our clients, when you start this out, you're helping people retire. Like, how do we get retired? Then you say, okay, how do we stay retired, right? And the focus is all on, am I going to be okay? Can I make it work through my retirement? Well, we're at that point now with 25 years of client experience that we've got clients who know, believe it or not, they know they're going to be fine. They're no longer worried at all about whether they can make their retirement dreams come true. They're now focused on that next generation. And because of our specialty in retirement planning, a lot of times we weren't able to work with the younger next generation of existing clients. And so in a way, we kind of maybe were short-sighted in that. We know why we wanted to do it, right? Because there's 1,000 rules and regulations that apply to just retirees, Social Security, required minimum distributions, all these tactics and strategies that apply specifically to retirement, that it felt really weird to say, oh, I just met with a 20-year-old and now I'm meeting with a 75-year-old. It doesn't jive, right? It doesn't.
Right.
So we said no to that for a long time. And I think at the end of the day, now we realized that we were doing maybe a little bit of a disservice to our clients in the long run if we wanted to help them maximize their goals and objectives, which is more that longevity in the next generation as well. And so can you speak to, we kind of addressed this, right? We launched something called Yellowfinch Financial.
Correct.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it's, just like we wanted to make sure as a firm, you've mentioned strategic, intentional ways that we've created the firm is, as we make sure that we have the right people and the right seats, we've done the same thing as we think about Yellowfinch. So Yellowfinch Financial is built and designed for people who are still on their journey towards retirement. There's a lot of goals and objectives in that initial part of our journey that can be different than once you get close to retirement and beyond. So we have a CFP, Certified Financial Planner, who heads that up for us. And again, you'll have an initial conversation with me, and then where it makes sense, I can connect you with Yellowfinch Financial and make sure they have all those notes and everything else. And then you can have a meeting with our advisor that heads that up for us. And it's on a subscription basis, but it gets you the same kind of comprehensive financial planning, access to investment portfolios that our investment team has built. And as you get closer to retirement, then Yellowfinch would transition you back over then to McCarthy and Cox, where we would take you close to retirement and beyond. Right.
So its focus is on younger people. It can be focused on that. It can have a different philosophy of its business model and everything else without being unduly influenced by us, right?
Right.
On the retirement side of things. So yeah, I mean, it's been growing like gangbusters, and and a lot of our clients are just very thankful that we have that option. And even non-clients have been coming in too that have now over the last 2 years heard about this and kind of like the makeup of it being subscription based versus or membership based, I should say. Yeah. Versus some of the other forms of financial planning that are out there.
Yeah, and they also Yellowfinch also serves as our part of our business that can offer 401k, SEP, Simples, all those things to business owners.
Tony, is there anything else that we should bring up for as far as a makeup of a firm or anything is for our first podcast?
No, I think that's a good overview of a firm and how we serve our clients.
Okay. Well, I was hoping that you would keep going because it is now the time of the podcast where I have to try this unbelievable concoction of very healthy stuff that
yes, absolutely.
All right. And I have to figure out a toast here. All right. So may all of our listeners get the chance to prove that money cannot buy you happiness. Cheers.
So
it's so much better than it looks.
It does look funky, but
it looks horrible, but it's really not bad at all.
I mean, you look better already, man. You got this glow about you. I'm telling you, you're going to leave here healthy.
The only healthy thing I've eaten and drank in years. Yeah. No. Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. That's awesome. Can't wait to have the rest of that. So just to follow up, we have a lot of great ideas for this podcast for the next number of weeks to come. But we'd love for some feedback from our listeners. Any topic that is of interest to you guys, just put it in the comments. We'd love to, follow up with that.
Right.
We'll be bringing in some, professionals in various topics to kind of go over. Also, if you don't mind, we're trying to launch this the right way. And if you could like or follow us on whatever platform you're currently watching the podcast, we'd very much appreciate it. And anything I missed?
No, I think we're cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll talk next time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Toast to Retirement podcast. Feel free to share with friends and family, and follow McCarthy and Cox Retirement and Estate Planning Specialists on Facebook and LinkedIn. Check out the podcast tab on our website, www.mccarthyandcox.com, where you can find links to all the episodes of Toast to Retirement. Certain sections of this commentary may contain forward-looking statements based on reasonable expectations, estimates, projections, and assumptions. Forward-looking statements are not guarantees of future performance and involve certain risks and uncertainties which are difficult to predict. All indices are unmanaged and are not available for direct investment by the public. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This podcast is provided for general information purposes only and does not constitute either tax, legal, or financial advice. Please consult a tax preparer, professional tax advisor, financial advisor, or lawyer regarding your specific circumstances. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. No strategy can guarantee any objective or goal will be achieved.